What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and we got some news to cover today in terms of are we going to see a settlement here soon? The SEC just made a few moves that might cause us to consider this as an option, and also why I'm going to talk a little bit at the end why it's important for you to consider maybe buying something tangible such as land. Now, let's get right into it. We see that Ripple right here, if you have forgotten, they're keeping good company. Now, the central bank payment news posted this, okay? And who do we see here in this picture? See all these banks, right? We see all these payment institutions, Visa. We see central banks. And who do we see in the middle of all these? Ripple. You got that right. So, if you thought they weren't important, look who they're amongst. The company of institutions and banks that they're around speaks volumes. So that's just a reminder to let you know what kind of investment you're in. Now, Martin Volk posted this. Now, this is the new lawyer that's coming to help out the SEC. And here he posted the document, and he said SEC looking to settle. Now he's supposed to appear on behalf of the plaintiff SEC, and motion and supporting papers to be reviewed. Now we know today is the closed meeting at the SEC, okay, and this is closed to the public, and it's at 2 p.m. It's going to be in Washington, D.C., so I believe this is Eastern time. So 11 p.m. Pacific. Now, the subject matter of the closed meeting will consist of the following topics: institution and settlement of injunctive actions, institution and settlement of administrative proceedings, and resolution of litigation claims and other matters relating to examinations and enforcement proceedings. So could we see a settlement coming here in the near future? Well, I bet your bottom dollar that there's something in the works happening, and these things don't happen by coincidence, believe me. And the lawyer who's coming specializes in settlement. He definitely does specialize in settlement. And here, Jeremy Hogan says the SEC is bringing in 2 lawyers from Chicago to assist with the case. The lawyers have 18 and 25 years of experience, so these are senior trial lawyers. I would say this means that the SEC is calling in the reinforcements. And he says it could mean the SEC just needs more help because Ripple's fighting back hard, or it could mean that someone decided there needs to be a new lead can. So my guess, the older Chicago attorney will be the new lead, as you don't need a 25-year lawyer just to help out. It's his opinion. Now, the reason I bring this up is because now we see that based on what Martin Volk posted here, this lawyer is, it says he has, I litigate cases involving violations of the security laws in federal district court and SEC administrative proceedings. These cases include insider trading, investment advisor misconduct, financial accounting fraud, audit violations, and offering fraud. I help conclude complex investigations, provide advice to the SEC senior officials regarding charging decisions, and negotiate settlements. Okay, so that's why I brought up Martin Volk's post, because it could be that they're bringing in this guy to help reach a settlement. And then Jeremy Hogan here says that it could be reinforcements or that they need another lead. So we'll see. But we also have those meetings occurring today within the SEC that are close to the public. So that'll be worth monitoring. Here is another thing, because we're seeing this narrative unfold very quickly before our eyes. And it's starting to pick up pace. And before you know it, it's going to happen so quick that by the time people realize what happens, it's going to be too late. It would have already been done. they would have already missed the train. So that's why it's important to keep updated because it's happening so fast. And we saw news of when Rosie Rios was introduced into the board of directors of Ripple that, you know, all of a sudden the subsidiary of PolySign, Standard Custody. There's news about that. And then we see Stefan Thomas talk about Codius. So all these bombshells were just dropped, you know, all at the same time, essentially. And there's no coincidence in that. And we know that Rosie was a custodian for the U.S. Treasury, for the custodian of gold, I believe. And then we get some custody news from PolySign of its subsidiary. Now listen to this about everything moving very quickly, and this was about a year ago.
Let's develop that euro strong currency that will be a currency of reference. These things happen gradually over time, and then it happens very fast. Let's hope that we will see that one of these days.
Let's hope that we will see that one of these days, and this was a year ago. So, and yesterday I saw an article that talked about the U.S. Treasury warning about this national debt and how they have to make sure it doesn't get out of control this summer. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. And Jungle Inc. posted this. For those that don't want a settlement or are calling for clarity, this court case isn't about XRP, but just if Ripple broke rules fundraising. A settlement, on the other hand, can clear XRP for future use, as we have seen with other tokens. And I've been saying this on my channel, that as soon as this case is over, it's going to provide all the clarity for XRP. And it'll be the only asset that has full clarity. And when things hit the fan and they need something to fall back on, you insert XRP and all the money will flow into it. All the money. And that phrase that we hear all the time of all the money, it's true, and it's gonna happen at one point or another. Now, I on this channel, I want to make sure I reiterate the fact and help you guys understand that these numbers in your bank account, they're all banking liabilities. You may look at them as dollars, but they're banking liabilities at the end of the day. They're IOUs. And I want to help educate. If you're part of this space, you're able to invest. I want to educate you on how to make the best of your opportunities. And this is not financial advice, but word to the wise, it's always good to listen to something that can help you out. And here, we're currently, the United States runs a trade deficit, which we pay with dollars for other nations' goods and services. But that has to end at one point or another, because at some point people are going to realize we don't want these dollars. And so it's going to be harder to come by to get goods, to get any kind of goods. And George Gammon also talks a lot about this on his show, that we don't produce goods, we're going to get to a point where it's not going to look pretty. And Heresy Financial has a good point here and compares our situation to what happened in Weimar, Germany. And this is what he has to say.
Economy that is productive, any amount of food that we do produce, any amount of stuff that we actually do make, becomes exponentially more valuable, because all of a sudden we can't get it from everywhere else anymore, so the supply goes down. The only place that we can get it is if we can make it ourselves, because the farm down the street will accept dollars because they're mandated to by the United States government at point of gun. This means that American farmland and other things that produce real goods become wildly valuable. And this isn't something new in history. This has happened many times before. One of the most well-known times where something like this has happened was the Weimar Republic in Germany. As they printed more and more money to pay for things, there was widespread poverty. Things got so expensive that it priced the everyday person out of being able to afford basic necessities. Every day, basic necessities were increasing in price. When it gets to that point, the basic necessities become the most valuable because you're no longer going for luxuries, you're going for survival. So poverty was rampant, even though paper currency was innumerably abundant. It was worthless. But this is important. Widespread poverty, but not universal poverty. There were some people that got very rich, and most of these were farmers. That's right, farmers. It turns out that when everybody's going for survival and everybody has been priced out of all of the basic necessities, the people who actually have things that produce the things that people need to live, like eggs and milk and cheese and meat, those are going to be the people who still have something to sell. And as prices go up, the prices of the stuff that they're selling goes up. Farmers were the only ones, or some of the only ones, who had possessions that produced anything of real value. So every day they sold their eggs and sold them for more and more, and sold their milk and cheese and meat for more and more. They got very wealthy because of it. Now, needless to say, this caused a lot of jealousy in other people.
Now, in summary, what I'm trying to say is, yes, invest your money and grow it and be able to have dollars, right? Because you need that to transact. But also, I've been iterating on this channel that all that wealth is abstract. When we look at the trade deficit in the U.S. right now, people are trying to go away from the U.S. dollar. We've seen things from Russia, from China. And what happens when there's a transition? I'm not saying there will be, but I'm saying what happens if that were the case, where people are trying to go away from the dollar, or if we just print so much money that we go into hyperinflation and we have a scenario like Weimar Germany, then it doesn't matter how many banking liabilities you have. What matters is what he said: if you have land that you can use to farm, you can grow your food, right? And that becomes essential because you're no longer worried about these luxury things. You're looking for basic survival needs, which is food, water, any kind of commodities. And that's why I always talk about this in this channel, that wealth has become so abstract that people forget what these banking liabilities are, which are essentially just IOUs. What's important is having something tangible, something like land. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward and play something else here at the 7-minute mark.
Things usually only take a couple of years to work themselves out. But again, like I said, not everybody gets poor. The people who own the assets and the real goods that are actually productive and produce real things get very rich. Farms become very valuable. Land and real estate become very valuable. Water becomes very valuable. Commodities become very valuable. And this is why the rich, most famously right now, Bill Gates, are scooping up, gobbling up, swallowing up farmland like they can't get enough of it. But don't be scared. Knowledge is power, and if you see what's coming and you see big money, smart people moving into areas, you can follow them. Get on the right side of the fence.
And yes, Bill Gates is like the biggest farmland owner currently in the United States. He has over 200,000 acres. And that's what I'm saying. Look, if you're invested, good for you. You're in the right space right now. And this can help you buy something tangible, something of worth, because currently everyone knows that the financial system is shaking, that there's going to be a great reset. And so you have to position yourself in an area where you're able to, in other words, de-risk. And the best way to do it, in my opinion, is, well, look at what the wealthy are doing. They're buying farmland like crazy. So why shouldn't you position yourself in the same manner? And history has a funny way of repeating itself. So these are my thoughts. Obviously, we know what Ripple and what XRP bring to the table and why we're invested in it. But also, we have to see the other side of it too, right? Where we're using that investment to help produce more investments, and something where you have to make sure you're leveraged and deleverage appropriately. I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe. What are your thoughts about everything, and what would you do with your investments or your profits? Comment below and let me know what you think. This is a Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.